Welcome to the Lightworker Podcast. I am your host, Natalie Ubl Grant. I am a lightworker, a meditation facilitator, Reiki master, and a health and wellness enthusiast who thrives on helping people. Connection is my superpower, and I just love bringing people to a space where transformation can occur. Are you looking for information on being a lightworker? Are you a lightworker and just love collecting knowledge from other lightworkers? Then this space is made especially for you. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Now, it's a very informal start, Karen.
It's great.
I've got Karen Tetther today, the
Shamanic one.
The shamanic. Would you like to share a little bit about what Karen does? Because, and I know titles and everything these days are becoming a little less important.
Yeah.
But you definitely have delved into the shaman world with your trips to Peru and
yes,
and taking trips to Peru. And the other thing too is when I first started this podcast in 2016 or 17, I think it was, Karen was one of the first people that I interviewed. I think we were sitting at the Budrum Falls with my little tiny microphone that I used to have, and I'd be doing this the whole time. So technology is a bit different now, which is really nice. So I really wanted to get Karen back on so that we can see where you're at and what it is that you're doing. So if you would like to share a little bit about, tell us what you're doing now, and then I'll see where the flow goes.
Okay. It's really funny that you should say the thing about titles, because I was at hot yoga this morning and the teacher said, "Oh, what's everyone up to today?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing a podcast with my friend Nat." And another lady went, "Oh, what are you going to talk about, and what do you do?"
Oh, so it's a bit of intrigue. You got the hot yoga class.
Yeah, that's right. And I said, "Oh, I'm a shamanic practitioner." And she said, "Oh, what's that?"
Amazing.
And so, like, for somebody that doesn't really know what a shamanic practitioner is, so my business is called Shamanic Soul Journeys, which encompasses a whole lot of different things. But essentially, a shamanic practitioner is somebody that works with the elements, with Mother Earth, with different shamanic practices. Mine is particular to Peruvian shamanism, although of course I'm interested in Native American shamanism as well, and that under that umbrella comes just so many different things, soul retrieval, shamanic sound, journeying with the chambers of the four hearts, four chambers of the heart, which is soul journeying, which is an event that I run to help people identify any contracts, soul contracts that are holding them back, and to create new contracts, which is essentially, again, it's about soul retrieval and where they need to do some self-discovery, really, and go right back to the core wound of what might be stopping them from moving forward. The trips to Peru and also Bali, which are two totally different retreats, but the trips to Peru are definitely a soul journey, a vision quest, if you like, for people, and we go a lot deeper, and we actually work with the Quiros shamans of Peru, and we do many different ceremonies to help people to transform, and it's extremely rewarding for me because I see people come back and they just completely change their life, from that journey, because the energy of that land is so powerful.
Yeah,
really powerful.
Well, it was for you too.
It was for me too.
Because that was your experience when you first went to Peru, and she came back and said, I'm going to be bringing people to Peru on shamanic snatch.
Yeah.
And you couldn't believe it yourself that was what you were going to be doing. But then, fast forward, it's nearly 10 years.
Yes.
Here you are.
I know.
And you've done it.
I know.
And you changed your life.
I did, and it was a pretty incredible journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that first trip to Peru was your awakening or part of it?
I think definitely that I was on my journey of awakening before then.
Mm-hmm.
I was working more in that health and fitness world. I had a Pilates studio, and I was teaching body balance, which, took me into yoga and Tai Chi and all of that.
Yeah.
And, I was definitely, doing the work before then. But I think for sure that first journey to Peru was next level awakening for me. It really catapulted me into a whole new world. And I really was so naive what that was going to be, because when that happened to me, which was for all the viewers out there, it was really part of the retreat at the end of, it was a month and a half long journey that I spent in Peru, but it culminated in me going to this retreat, which I didn't know anything about ayahuasca. I didn't know anything really about shamanism. I just knew that I had to go to that retreat center at that moment in time. And I think I was there for about 10 days, doing different journeys. But really, I actually only did two ayahuasca journeys. And the first ayahuasca journey that I did, I've never experienced anything like it ever before in my life, and because I went in, I know that people do heaps of research about this, but I didn't.
You just went in and go, okay, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I just basically went in and just went, I know I've got to do this. So I'm here, and I was so open,
curious,
and I think that's why I had such a profound experience, because there was no blocks. I just
and no assumptions on what it should be like.
Nope.
Or what
Nothing.
You're not trying to control whatever it is as you go in. You're just there and see what happens.
Yeah. And in that experience, as we went into that whole journey, I had the shaman beside me for a lot of the journey, and he had a wing-like glove on in my vision.
Yeah, cool.
And my hand went up to his, and I now know that when my hand starts to move in whatever direction, that's part of whatever I'm receiving, or when I'm giving healing, that's my signal, that's my indicator that something really big is happening for myself or for the person.
Yeah, amazing.
And so I felt as though I was levitating.
Yeah, cool.
That's what it felt like to me. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I had set an intention to receive information about Inca shamanism, and also about bringing groups back to Peru. And off the cave of this wall, golden codes downloaded into my hand, and I could see them very clearly. I had no clue what they meant, and that went on for, I don't know, at least 30 minutes. And at the end of it, it was literally like being in the Matrix movie, where he's plugged in at the back of the neck, and he goes, I learned Kung Fu.
Yes.
and I hit the ground, and I just went,
You remember?
what on earth what was that?
Mm.
What was that? And it's not really until a few years later that I realize, and of course now we're in a place where, you know, lots of people are downloading codes and using codes, and
It has become a lot more normal. It probably wasn't that normal back then.
no,
And
definitely
even
not. No.
talking to me about it, you're a bit apprehensive
Yeah, and
about what I'd think.
yes,
You know,
yeah,
because it was those kinds of experiences a lot of people would keep close to their chest back
yes,
then because the fear of judgment, but because the experience was real for you,
yeah,
no one can talk you out of it. It is what it was.
yeah,
You were receiving codes.
yeah,
It changed and opened something in you.
yes,
And you were becoming who you were meant to be.
yes,
So it's
so much.
such a powerful thing.
It was like so insanely powerful, and I, reflecting on it now, like I bring through those codes when I'm giving people Muniki.
Yeah.
I bring through those codes in healing ceremonies, everything that I do, I can see them.
Yeah.
They come through like little fine codes, um, through the third eye, through my hands. My hands, the most powerful tool. And I do remember the shaman saying to me, "Muy fuerte, chica," and I knew that meant that was really strong.
Yeah.
That was really strong, and many other things were shown to me during that ceremony that they're lifelong things that will remain with me.
Yeah.
About light workers, and how we, like the vision that I saw was, the light workers, being, we could see each other at the top of the world. We could see each other's lights, and like you say, it was way before what's happening now.
Yes.
And down below was the shadow people, or people that were really struggling, trying to reach our light. And so, a lot of the message at that time was, don't let yourself be pulled into other people's shadows and darkness, because you are the light.
Yeah.
You and all of these other people that I could see, you're the light. And I think that's just so incredibly relevant right now.
Right now,
isn't it?
So relevant.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of mini waves in the last 6 years of really needing to connect to our own light, to honor our own light, to allow people to be where they are, because they will get there, but they've got to do it on their own terms.
Mm-hmm.
They have to find their own path. We
Yeah.
can't stand there and say, you have to do it this way.
Yeah.
You're a shaman teacher, I'm a Reiki teacher. We're two people that offer different paths for people that it aligns with.
Yes.
And it's not because either of us are doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the thing that's going to change humanity. It's just that we are offering what works for us.
Yeah.
And holding that torch, saying, hey, this worked for me. And if anything that we're sharing helps you, that brings gratitude to my heart.
Yeah.
If it's hindering you in any way, it's probably not your path. And it's up to the person to figure out what is their path. Because there's so many different ways.
Yeah.
Different ways. But the main thing is that vision that I could clearly see when you were describing it, is there is a light, head towards it.
Yeah.
Find the path that works for you, that helps you go towards that, because it is the opposite is down low in that shadow. You've got to go and look at the shadow.
Yeah.
But you don't have to live there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's like a really important point for everybody right now is, don't run away from your shadow, because the shadow is the gift.
It is.
And, that's in shamanism, we work with the sacred serpent, energy, and that goes to Ukupacha, the lower world. And the lower world's beautiful, the lower world is working with Mother Earth and all of her healing energies too, and sacred serpent energy can allow us to explore areas in our life where maybe we need some different tools to move through that core wound.
Yeah.
And the core wound, it's different for everybody. And some people have just gone, no, I don't want to see that core wound. And so they've skimmed over the top of it. But believe you me, at some point in time, it's going to catch up with you, because it just always does, because it's part of your evolution to look at the shadow.
Yeah. And too often I see people that they're wanting to get rid of things all the time. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to experience that. So I'm going to positively talk my way out of it. And as far as I can tell, that doesn't work long term.
No.
What does work long term is that willingness to actually be with yourself, be truthful with what's actually occurring, and then go after it.
Yeah.
Go and look at one of your sessions. I did one of your soul journey sessions where we did the 4 animals. Like, I can't recommend that enough. What was that called?
That was Soul Journeys.
Soul journeying with the 4.
Maybe that was journeying with the 4 power animals.
That was it.
Yeah.
Journeying with the 4 power.
Journey with the 4 power animals of Inca shamanism.
We did, because I got 4 lessons from each of the.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think we had a full room that day.
Yeah, we did.
Which was so much fun. But I had to be there. It was one of those things. My team just said, you need to go.
Yeah, and I think you brought all of your group, I think.
We all had to be there.
It was a fun day.
It was.
And it is really fun getting to know the power animals. I think we are definitely moving into Jaguar energy right now.
Yeah, okay. Can you explain that for these guys?
Yes, for sure. So Jaguar is about self-mastery.
Yes.
And because
it is.
We have all of this huge Aries energy this month, particularly, it's going to be really strong with all the stelliums in Aries. And Jaguar asks you to really step into your unique, authentic self. Take your mastery to the next level. And I love, there's a meditation journey that I do with Jaguar, where Jaguar journeys through the mystical realms. It's really, Jaguar's kind of in the lower world, actually, and is in this mystical realm, bringing with her the ancient knowledge and wisdom of the past, the wisdom of the stone masters, the wisdom of the jungle energy, and everything that's been passed down through the generations. And you get to journey with Jaguar and feel what Jaguar feels like in Jaguar's body,
Yeah.
So to look through her eyes, which are like laser beams, and to own each step that you take. And I think that's another really important thing right now.
So
you don't need to be comparing yourself with anyone else. And in the meditation, we come to a chasm, or like that gap where you've got to take that leap from one side to the other. And that is also really relevant right now, because we're journeying from the old world to the new.
We are.
So some people have literally got their legs split between the two worlds, and they haven't let go of this old foot over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Jaguar actually circles and summons up that courage and strength to take a new path, and leaps over the chasm into the new world.
Yeah.
Where it's so amazing and everything's light, and there's so many new possibilities available to us now. Like that's what I'm saying. It's just so
like,
relevant to now.
Yeah, being able to. I liked hearing you say that it is about being your own master now.
Yes,
it is about really getting into the inside of you, of what is true for you, and honoring the path that took you here. Everyone's got a unique path. Wherever you are on your life's journey, you've learned some things on that path, good and bad. You've learned something, and it's time, I think, to honor where you're at. And if you can see those things that have occurred in your life, some people have had to deal with big traumas, other people have not. Whatever it is, you're the master of you and your perspective on that. And it's time to seek internally for answers, not externally. So it's helpful when you can go and have some of these journeys.
Yes.
That actually you're facilitating a situation where a person can actually go inward and find their own answers.
Yes.
Because that's where the self-mastery piece comes in, is that you are your own teacher, ultimately. We, as teachers of what we teach about, can share a path, a way, an opportunity for you to then connect to yourself.
And if you
your own answers.
Yes. And if for example, using this particular analogy that we're using with the jaguar, if for example you're circling and you just in your meditation or your visualization, you can't take that leap of faith into the new world, then it's really, you have got to look internally. What am I afraid of?
Yeah.
Why can I not take that leap of faith? Why? Or, maybe you get stuck midair and you don't make it to the other side and you fall into the chasm. What's that about?
Yeah, what's at the bottom of that chasm that you actually need to give your attention to?
Yeah.
That you've been avoiding giving your attention to because of fear.
Yeah.
Because fear, one of my teachers a long time ago, he said to me, if you go after all your fears, you'll have the best life that you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And he was right. Anytime a fear comes up,
so much,
if you can muster up enough courage or enough support, because sometimes whatever it is you have to face can be challenging, so therefore you do need people to support you in that space so that you can, because we do better together than we do apart. I really believe that community is important, that supporting each other is important, and sometimes some of the challenges that people have to face, if we're talking about fears, can be enormous to try and do it on your own. And that's why people like you and I hold space for others, because we know the depths of what we've had to walk to overcome our own fears. So it feels right to then pay it forward by offering that neutral space for people to be able to figure out how to face these fears. That's why it can be important to go and do some journeys or have a session, or so that you can actually face some of these fears and get out of that holding pattern that the jaguar's kind of getting you to look at. It wants you to look at it.
Yeah. And I want to tell you a story as well about the Peru journeys, which, in the beginning I met a Peruvian while I was over there that I originally set the trips up with.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like a third party, if you like, to organising the trips. And I think that was kind of necessary for me to do that with him, because I was essentially going in blind. But, even that first step took a lot of courage, because I didn't really know that person all that well. I built a relationship with him before I took the first group over, but it was still a gamble, to start those trips. And then, obviously during COVID, we didn't go to Peru. And then when everything opened back up again, I did one more journey with him, which showed me so many things about him that didn't align with me anymore. And then I had to ask myself, okay, well, if you're not going to do the journeys with him, then you basically, this is the self-mastery, this is the Jaguar energy, you're on your own. And so I literally cut all ties with him, set up my own trips, and it was a completely different way of doing it because it was mine.
Yeah.
It wasn't an interpretation of what he thought that I wanted.
Yes.
It was all mine. It was like, it was all my ideas, all, and instead of doing a traveling journey, we stayed in one place and traveled each day.
Yeah, great.
And so the point to this story is, I was so shit scared that first one that I did.
Yeah.
And I only took a small group because, I wanted to obviously test it out. But it was actually, saying to myself, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can do this. You're okay. You can do this,
Yeah.
And I did the first journey, and then next year sold out. Like it just, because spirit was, I think, wanting me to do that,
yes.
to make that change.
Yeah.
And I had been nudged towards it for quite some time, and I was like, no, I'm not going to look at that.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
And it is just the fear program in us that's preventing us from actually seeing what gift could possibly be beyond that leap.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about in meditation group this morning, it's one of the things that most people deal with is worthiness, but being worthy enough to receive whatever that is, if you do take the leap, if you do back yourself, if you do trust that, yes, this is all the guidance and this is starting to feel icky over here, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But sometimes, we've had the mantra, it's better the devil you know.
Yeah.
And
That's
that
we've
is
grown
not
up
true.
with. Yeah. We've grown up with it.
We have.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-mm.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
So from there, your trips. So it's annual or biannually? How often do you run them?
It's annually at the moment, but last year we actually ran 2.
Yeah, cool.
So one in September and one in October, because there was just like so much demand for it, and that was kind of like quite overwhelming in many ways, but also really beautiful as well. We had 2 really different groups, and there's so much learning for me in each one of those journeys, and and then I'm the next challenge for me, the next Jaguar challenge for me, is because I don't know, like those of you that do know me, some of you probably don't know that my homeland is England, and it's been brought into my awareness that I need to do Journey to Avalon.
Ooh,
yeah. Mm-hmm. So that is in the planning too.
Amazing.
And that is another moment.
Leap of faith.
Because of course I've been doing the journeys to Peru for so long, and so maybe I will do Peru at a different time next year, not in September, October, but maybe earlier in the year.
So when are you planning on an Avalon trip?
Join us next week for part 2 with Karen Tetther, and we find out about her Avalon trip that she's planning. See you next week. If you enjoy this podcast, remember to like and subscribe and share it with someone that you think would benefit from this. Follow us on Spotify and all the podcasting apps that you may listen to your favourite podcasts through. The more we share these podcasts, the further the messages of the stories of awakening are spread. It's happening all over the world now. People are awakening, and it's an exciting time to be alive. The content found within these podcasts are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Nothing on this website is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any physical or medical conditions. If you have any physical or medical conditions, you should seek the advice of your medical professional immediately. These podcasts have a meditative effect, so please never drive a vehicle while listening to Guided Meditation Podcast.